So when I first heard that Prince of Persia Sands of Time was being remade, I was super happy because it's one of my favorite games of all time. However, when I clicked on the trailer and I saw all those dislikes, I was surprised. And I ended up realizing that I was also disappointed because of the graphics that they showed. And there was lots of criticism, and it's understandable where everyone is coming from because they really want to see this game succeed, the game that everyone grew up with and that everyone loved. But since the footage was from pre-alpha, many people were wondering whether or not, and including me, whether or not this was how the final game was going to look, and whether or not we will see any changes down the line. And thankfully, there have been various images that have popped up here and there over the internet that have been reassuring because they look much better than what we saw initially in the trailer. And so if we look at this part of the trailer where the prince is basically protecting Farah against his father, basically an image popped up on the internet, and the link is in the description, where we had the same scene, but it looked like it was from a newer build. And not only did Farah look different, but the prince as well, and everything looked much more detailed and polished than what we saw initially, which was very good to see. And now here's a side-by-side comparison of the two, and as you can tell, not only is there less contrast, but there's also more detail. Farah looks completely different, and so this must be a different model, or there's definitely something that they changed over the span where they showed the trailer. And if we look at the promotional images that were on the Ubisoft website, Farah once again looks like the newer model that we just saw, and so what we saw in the trailer is most likely not what we are going to see in the game. And here the game looks much better than what was shown in the trailer. But then there were also some cosplay guides that Ubisoft provided showing the different character models in detail. And if we look at Farah again, it seems as though she's back to her original model that was shown in the trailer, which is confusing because the promotional images show one thing, the new image shows another thing, and then we have the model. But the model itself does look much better than what was shown in the trailer either way. So that's obviously something very good in that aspect. And then in terms of the prince looks really good in the cosplay guide, and the model looks very detailed and the graphics look great. And this is him with his armor on, and then if you look at him with his armor off later in the game, once again the details look great, and this is definitely something that you would expect. And since they've talked about how they want a more cartoony feel to the game, it's understandable what you're getting here, and this is exactly what you kind of would expect, and it does look fine. And this is just a close-up, and this close-up looks fine as well. The prince's expressions kind of aren't there from the original, and definitely that's something I would hope to see return, and his eyes maybe a bit bigger there, but other than that, it looks much better than what was shown in the trailer. So this is some hope for all of us Prince of Persia fans for sure, considering what we saw in the trailer. And then we have this image that was found, and this was very interesting because the models just look like what you would expect, to be honest, from the game. It has that cartoony look, it has what they're going for, but it also looks like a detailed model. It doesn't look like they cheaped out on anything, and I'm not sure if this will ever be in the game, but graphic, or this, what we're seeing right now, is actually very interesting to see. And in my opinion, this picture best represents what the game should be like. Obviously there's constraints to that, but this is an ideal image of what you would expect a remake in their vision of having it in a cartoon setting, as they said. But these images definitely provide some hope as to what we saw in the trailer and what we will actually get. Now I just wanted to show a interesting image that I also found. Now I read some criticism over these sand monsters that were showed in the trailer because They just look like sand. They didn't look like the original Sands of Time, where they look kind of like zombies with sand infested bodies. And once again, I found a promotional image that showed the sand monster that the prince is fighting with Farah, and that looks just like the original. It looks like a zombie kind of person with sand. So I feel as though we'll get a return back to these type of models in the actual game, and what's been shown in the trailer must be some much older build, as they said it is pre-alpha. But I think because of COVID and because of everything that's been going on, they meant to show this trailer a long time ago, maybe even back in May, because that's when the Prince of Persia Twitter account was first made, and usually a month after the Twitter account is made is when usually Ubisoft reveals its games. And so I feel as though that's when the game was originally supposed to be shown in that model. And finally, I just want to close this video off with some new pictures that I found. So there's one new picture I found that once again shows the environment of the game, and as you can see, it looks great. The environment looks great, the wall running, everything looks fantastic. And here are some other images that were but they were on the promotional website for the game pre-order, and they all look great. And really, at the end of the day, I think the issue is they've shown something that does not look like it will be the final product, and I'm actually very happy that it is not the final product, and I'm sure many of us are, because it's definitely not representative of a remake that has all the details that you want, everything you want in there. But with all the new images that have come out, there's definitely hope, and I would definitely stick around. And even if the graphics don't work out, I've still pre-ordered it. I love the game and I will support it just so we can get more games. And if you do too, then go ahead and pre-order it. But if you're waiting out to see if the graphics are going to look better, as we've seen, there's from the cosplay guide and all the new images that were leaked or found, the game looks great, and it seems as though they're working on it, and newer builds just look amazing. And what I'll end on is to say that Jordan Mechner has said himself that he's played the newest version of the game and he's enjoyed it a lot, and I would take his word for it. He's not just saying that, he definitely will say what he means if he wants to, and I'm sure we'll get a very good game in the end, whether or not, because it's the same story and game that we've always loved. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe so you can get notifications on any other Prince of Persia videos, because I'll be covering everything pop related all the way up until the remake comes out and anything after that. And of course, there will be so many more videos on this on Prince of Persia and any new news that we get and other Prince of Persia related things, and maybe other game related things as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have hope, we will get a great game, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.